Hey there, Internet. We are back. It is time for another Idle Champions live stream. I'm Chris Dupuis, the live services manager of Idle Champions, and I'm here for the final live stream before our regular live stream guru, Dylan, returns. So you'll get to see me sputter a little bit more as we finish this up. And then next week, Dylan returns from his Hawaii honeymoon, and things will go back to normal a little bit. So thanks for joining us. We got a fun show for you today. We have a special guest, which I'll be introducing in just a moment. But to get through some announcements first, it's the last week of Greengrass. This is your last opportunity to gear up Ayla and Narak before they go back to the realm of the time gates. So make sure to log in, finish up those free plays, grind that favor, and make sure you get them all geared up. Next week, we have Grand Tour 8 coming out, the finale of our Barovia adventure. And the week after that, we have Caddy Bree and our newest champion, which we announced last Friday, Spurt. Spurt, Chris Perkins' character from Critical Role, is going to be joining us in Idle Champions. So that's coming up in 2 weeks. What else do we have? We're going to be at D&D Live, the live streaming event in LA in May. We're going to have a booth all set up. You can come by and meet Dylan and Eric and learn about Idle Champions, get some free codes, and just be part of a really great, awesome D&D experience. The Stream of Many Eyes last year was phenomenal. The crew couldn't stop raving about it when they got back, and I expect this year's event is going to be similarly massive. There are still tickets available. If you are interested, you can search D&D Live 2019 and find that if our moderators don't already have the links. And finally, we sponsored Main Drop, the Critical Role show where they play through video games. Liam Taliesin and special guest Satine Phoenix played through Idle Champions. They played through Running of the Swords all the way to the Zombie T-Rex, and they had a great time. You should check it out. Main Drop episode is on YouTube as of noon this afternoon. So that's all I have for announcements. Let me go ahead and introduce our guest for the show today, who I have to unmute. I remembered.
Hello.
Hi, Katie.
Hi.
This is Katie Morrison from the UK-based High Rollers D&D group. Katie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your crew?
Yeah, sure. So, High Rollers, we've been streaming D&D for just over 3 years now on the Yogscast Twitch channel. Something that started very much as a small thing that we thought, oh, this won't go anywhere, and now we're still here and we're still doing it, and it's amazing. Me myself, I have a sort of a regular day job, I guess, in comparison to some of the other guys that I work with. So I have my influencer marketing day job, and then my weekend is D&D and High Rollers. So yeah, some of the other crew that I play with are a little bit more versed in the content creation sort of thing, but yeah, we do what we can.
All right. And you've been playing with the High Rollers group for 3 years. This is your second campaign that you're working on?
Yes, so this is our second main campaign. We have done a couple of sort of mini campaigns, which are more around the Wizards of the Coast modules that we have sort of helped out on. But we had Lightfall campaign before this, and now we're on Erois, and both of those campaigns were homebrew worlds made by Mark, so which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, reading through his document on Erois was amazing. He's put so much work into it.
It's extensive. And this started a very long time before we even started Erois. He had all of these documents, and he was sort of just sending us, oh, here's information about this if you're interested, or here's information about these gods. I've made all of this for you, and it was just so comprehensive and so insane. But that's what he does. He likes to make worlds sort of from scratch and build upon them like that.
Yeah, and he does an amazing job. And this is Mark Humes, the DM of High Rollers. Was it jarring going from one custom homebrew world to another when you started a new campaign?
It's a little bit, it was a very different sort of feeling for this one, because this world has a little bit of sort of a sci-fi mix in.
Hmm.
So that side of things took a little bit of getting used to. Um, but for me, it's been actually simpler probably, because I've gone from playing a druid to playing a barbarian. So I feel like I have much less to manage, and now I just have to
I don't think it's
worry about what to hit first.
I don't think it's a feeling. I think you definitely have much less to manage. It's like, where does my
Yes.
Warhammer go?
Yep. Circle of the Moon Druids, man, they're
Mm.
great, but they were a lot to manage. So, yeah, I'm enjoying that change. That's quite fun.
So Ayla, compared to your past character, like obviously lower
Mhm.
complexity, how do you feel about them as a character? Is there one that's closer to your heart? Are you still learning about Ayla?
Um, I think my first character, Laura, is probably always going to be really close to me, because she was my first character ever. So the first time that I actually played D&D was on stream 3 years ago as a Laura. So that was jumping straight in at the deep end. Let's just let's play D&D. Oh, by the way, we're going to just stream it for an audience as well.
And
So there was
here's a
sort of,
camera.
yeah, basically. So she's always going to be close to me, because I kind of learned to play using her as a character. And I think she was personality wise probably closer to myself than Ayla is. But I'm really, really enjoying Ayla, because she's like sort of the polar opposite of Alora, in that she sort of doesn't care as much, and she is much more violent and just ready to get the job done, not as scared as Alora was, which is quite therapeutic actually to go into a session with Ayla. I find, in comparison, just because she's like, if you have a bad day, you can just go in and be like, I'm just gonna hit some stuff with a big hammer, and it's gonna make me feel good.
That's
So that's
that's a very good
good.
point.
So I feel like I'm definitely getting to know Ayla a little bit better now. I did take a little bit of a break from the campaign, just due to work getting super busy last year. So I took a bit of a break, and I feel like some of the other guys might know their characters a little bit more. But in the past couple of months, I've really sort of gotten stuck in with Ayla. So it's great.
And Ayla, who I'm almost about to unlock right now, for
Ooh.
players who have been introduced to Ayla over the past week and have been starting to figure out the ins and outs of her, can you give us a little bit more background on her as a character?
Yeah, so Ayla is she's a wild elf, which basically, in Mark's homebrew world, sort of there's high elves and there's wild elves. High elves are very much, they're in the sky cities. They're very sort of regal and fancy, and then there's the wild elves, which sort of take inspiration from like Vikings,
Mhm.
which is was super appealing to me when I was making the character. As soon as Mark said Viking elves, I was like, well, gonna have to do that then. So I always play elves, and everyone always gives me crap for it, but I don't care. Viking elves, how
Yeah.
could you not?
No, I mean, come on.
So from that, I thought it might be really cool to sort of bring in, because I'm Scottish, I thought I'd bring in sort of my Scottish roots a little bit in parts of Ayla. So the sort of Celtic theme came in, and her name, actually, the name Ayla means from the strong place in Scottish Gaelic, which is really fun. I like to have my names mean things sometimes. So
Mm.
it seemed really fitting for a barbarian, for a nice strong girl. Um, and then, yes, so the background for Ayla, I kind of like to keep a little bit of it mystery to even myself,
Hmm.
which is what I did in the previous campaign. Is I said to Mark, look, here's this elf, she's had a great life, she's sort of this part of this royal family, and she's going out on an adventure. Just mess with it, do what you want. And he did, and it was nice going into it and not knowing what he was going to go for with it. So I guess there was part of that with Ayla, was she is looking for her family, but she doesn't know who her clan is. So she was found as a baby with a scrap of tartan, which is how the different clans sort of identify themselves, which is kind of taking a little bit from the Scottish thing. And the idea is that she was trying to find this mystery clan, because she started to develop these powers. She started to sort of have lightning sort of course down her arms, and those abilities is something that the rest of the clan that she was in, the Erdice, they didn't have those powers. So this is sort of a quest for her to find out why she has them, and sort of she's getting there. She's getting a little bit of information. So she's part of basically 4 clans, which are the Lair de Lan, which have sort of elemental powers. So she's found this out, but she still has no knowledge if they exist or not, because she's being told different things. So, and on the way, she's picked up a crew of miscreants that we're a very odd bunch, really. The High Rollers crew. When you look at us, it's like if you our characters walked into a bar, it would look very strange. It's like, here's an Air Ganassi, a High Elf, a Wild Elf, a Birdman, and a Guardian, and it's like it's interesting for sure. So yeah.
I feel like most D&D groups end up hitting that at one point. It's like you walk into the bar and you actually look around and think about your characters and you're just like, yeah, all right, we're the weirdest group in here, I guarantee you.
Definitely. Yeah. They are a very weird bunch, and then on top of that, there's some people who get on better with other races. The Wild Elves largely are seen as kind of bandits and people who kind of they're not afraid to take what they want. So they've got a bad rep for sort of destroying villages, etc. Which means that when Ayla sort of enters towns, she's seen as, oh, she's trouble, which of course she finds hilarious and doesn't really mind.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I had a really good question. We got a couple of questions from the fans, though.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are you excited to have a character in a video game?
Yes, I'm so excited. It's like one of those like bucket list type things. I feel like I've accomplished something. It's like, oh, let's tick that off. We're in a video game. That's pretty awesome. And it's really awesome as well being a D&D character, because it's like, this is someone that I have created in my head and now I can see them. Like it's awesome enough just having our artist Nina draw our characters, but to see them in a game and hitting and being animated and all the awesome artwork, that's just insane.
Yeah, the crew here, and we give them shout outs on every new champion. They just do an amazing job with the reference that they have. And luckily we had a ton of work with you, a ton of reference with Ayla. We had not only the fan art that you had the official art, and you had a custom mini created for them, right?
Yes, we did. We had our minis. So previously we've sort of tried to go either find a mini that works for us or try and build one on something like Hero Forge to what the character is. But we're just getting so out there with our character designs and so detailed that it was really difficult to find ones. And we knew that when we started the new campaign, we wanted to sort of kick it up a notch. So we decided, let's get Russ Charles, who sculpted Critical Roles ones as well. So we thought, let's get him to do our sculpts for us and do it properly. And then we got them painted professionally as well, because there is no way that I was going to paint tartan that small. So
yeah, that's a good point. I'm like, painting minis isn't that hard. And then you say tartan and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. I was like, no, there's no way. I've painted like a couple of like lizard men in the past. That was challenge level enough for me. I feel like when you get to tartan, there's no way.
When I started painting minis, I was doing it over the winter because it was really snowy and cold and stuff, and I ended up painting an entire Space Hulk set, all the Space Hulk guys and all the Gene Stealers, and it came out amazing. And it was my first time doing minis, and I haven't touched them ever since because I feel like I can't ever beat that.
You've reached the peak. That's it.
You gotta cut out while you're on top.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's so scary because the more you think about it, the more shaky your hand gets when you're trying to sort of. It was the faces that got me. They'd just be faceless because there's no way I'm going near the eyes. It just looks so creepy.
You gotta have just the right amount of paint on that little edge of the brush.
Yep. So I'm very glad that we had ours painted.
So I have a question from user Dries. What does Glenadel mean, though?
Oh, Galanadel. That was my old character. So that actually means moon whisper in Elvish. So my old character is very like Spire of the Moon, very moon centered. So yeah, moon whisper is what that means.
Oh, nice.
There you go. Fun fact.
One of our community leaders, Mars, asks, does Ayla take her name and themes from the Allah demon of Serbian myth? It is a massive, capricious female serpent monster that brings storms and happens to be my favorite folklore creature.
She doesn't, but that seems really fitting.
Yeah.
And that's kind of awesome. So I'm going to say, sure, now she does. I'm taking that.
So let's see. Sorry, I am running on fumes today.
I feel much the same. I feel we're trying to avoid the TwitchCon plague that it's definitely gotten Tom. Tom's dying. So
That's right. You guys were just at TwitchCon, right?
yes, we were. We were at TwitchCon in Berlin. So we got back on Monday evening, and then we were straight back to work. Tom and I were straight back to work on Tuesday. So no rest so far. But it was really good. We had a live game, and of course Anna Prosser works for Twitch, so we got to see Anna, which was awesome. And we actually had Nathan Sharp join us on stream as well. So he joined us and played on stage, which was really awesome. So I've now played with one of the DCA guys, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I hadn't met. I think he was the one that I didn't manage to meet a few years ago at the Stream of Annihilation. So it was really cool to get to play with him.
Yeah, they're a super cool group. All of them are so gracious with their time. It's awesome to get to meet them.
Yeah, definitely, super lovely people. So yeah, it was a successful convention. I look forward to when we see them again, which won't be too long actually. We're going to D&D Live. So
that's right. Though, will the whole High Rollers crew be there?
Everyone except Kim, I believe, who is not available to come. But 5 out of 6.
That's not bad, especially coming all the way. Especially coming all the way from the UK.
Yeah, no, we're really excited. Although you will be able to spot us because we'll be the ones either melting when we're outside or too cold inside because we've dressed just completely wrong for aircon. Because aircon isn't a thing here.
Yeah, no, LA is just very, very hot. Very, very hot.
Yep. As a very pale Scottish girl, it's not great for me. I love the thing is I love the sun and I love LA, but it doesn't love me back.
So let's see. Joe's Life asks, what character does Ayla get along with best in the party? Or which character?
Good question. Probably Sentry. I would say Sentry.
And do you think that's because you guys are both normally up in the front of the formation, or?
I think so. I think she's starting to get along better with Nova now as well. But she's someone who's sort of, it takes her a while to sort of warm up to people. I think she enjoys each of them like in different ways, I guess. So we've got Quill, who's the sort of level-headed one, sensible, smart one. We've got Nova, who's very can go crazy, sort of excited, which I don't know how Ayla feels about sometimes. She's like, that's too much, that's loud. But I think she's getting used to it now, and she loves her for it. Lucius, who she just loves to make fun of, really. And yeah, I think Sentry, because she sees that Sentry is very strong. So I think she appreciates that and the way she fights.
Cool. Figuratively Anything asks, are we ever going to meet Ayla's family later on?
Good question. Maybe. I don't know. It depends if they're out there. I'm not sure if it would be something that we would do to visit her old clan, the Erdieth. I guess it depends where we end up in Erois, really, because traveling around Erois takes a long time. So if we end up near where her clan was, then we could potentially do that. I don't believe me and Mark have set a place for that yet within the world. We just we've been roaming sort of one continent, so the world is still sort of being worked on. But in terms of her actual clan, I hope so. I hope that we find them and they're still around. But I don't know. That's a Mark question.
So is that something that you worked out with Mark in terms of, like, you said you wanted to keep the backstory a little bit up in the air, but in terms of like the original clan and what that means to her, is that stuff that you've worked out with Mark and you're just keeping separate from player knowledge and character knowledge?
Yeah, a little bit. So she's sort of just got these the memories. So she was raised in her old clan, so she's got a lot of love there for them because they've sort of taught her how to survive. And with wild elf sort of survival, things like that is very important to them. They have to survive in the lowlands. It's sort of a harsh environment, but Ayla's sort of not usually the type to sort of feel overwhelming loyalty, I guess. So we'll see.
I apologize. Some of our team members just went to the window to show me that they're celebrating Bushwhacker's 7th anniversary right now by eating cake.
Oh.
And our little streaming closet
Very
has a
nice.
nice window where I could see people standing there eating cake and trying to get
Are
me
they
to
not
break.
bringing you cake?
No, they're not bringing me cake. Not
They
at all.
should bring you cake.
Yeah,
That's
but I don't wanna.
just disgraceful.
It is disgraceful, but I probably wouldn't eat it if they brought me some because, no one wants to see me munching on cake while we're chatting.
Well, I'd like to hope that at least they save you a piece of cake so that when you're
Oh,
done.
they keep popping over and showing me. I think there's a line. Yes, I do hope they
Okay.
save me cake. Nightjar asks, how much is Tom paying you to say these nice things? Katie?
Nightjar. He's not paying me, but he should be. That's a good point. Maybe I should charge. I'll get him to say nice things about Ayla when his character gets added. It's fine.
Nice.
Nice things about me. We'll do a trade. That's what it'll be.
That's perfect because he actually is the next champion that'll be coming out from the High Rollers.
Yeah, he's going to be an interesting one to put in.
Thank you, sir.
Yay!
Look, I got cake.
Yeah. Nice.
You could hear the whole studio laughing. Let's see. So since your first game was a few years ago, this might be a little tough for you to answer, but I'll throw it at you.
Okay.
Question: if you had to play a classic D&D module, which one would you choose and why?
Oh, I don't know any though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I didn't.
Because I'm such a new player, and the thing is, I've been in homebrew worlds, so I need to get back. Oh, actually, would it count if I say Curse of Strahd? Is that good enough?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I genuinely am really interested in that. I saw one of my friends DM it, and it looked really, really cool. It's evil, but cool.
It is super duper cool. And that's one of the things that I love about 5e is they've taken so many of these old modules and revamped them and allowed you to play through them without having to learn the old systems.
Yeah.
And inject a little bit of modern design into it. And so it's super cool. So you can do Temple of Elemental Evil or Ravenloft or Against the Giants. And there's a new 5e take on it. So yeah, that's super duper cool about it.
That one and the Tomb of Annihilation. I don't know if I'd want to play through that one because it's terrifying, and I've read the book and I know how terrifying that place is, and I think you have to go into that being like, okay, here's 5 characters that I could play across this, because inevitably there will be a lot of death.
Yeah, that Tomb of Horrors is always the one where you gotta like slap the next character sheet down. You're like, all right, next.
That's something that I actually find really difficult. Some people, so Kim finds it really easy to do, is like come up with a bunch of characters, a huge backstory. She loves doing that kind of stuff. Whereas I find it really difficult to make characters that I know I'm going to be able to play. So I'm quite pleased that I've got Elora and Ayla. I've got them down, I feel, but I find it quite difficult to think of new characters. So that would probably be a difficult one for me to play through, constantly having to bring new characters into it.
You'd be that one person with the 10-foot pole. Like, I check, I move 3 feet. I check, I move 3 feet.
It's that thing where Mark goes, do you really open that door? And you're like, no, I don't open it. I don't touch it. I'm the other side of the room.
Redlink259 asks, which encounter was the toughest for Ayla personally?
goodness. I don't want to give any spoilers on this stream, but episode 26, you'll know, had a very big. It had a couple of battles, and sort of towards the end of that, she didn't know what to do, because I think for Ayla, she just wants to smash her way through things, and that one she couldn't see a way out, so it was really difficult for her to say, well, I could, like, in her head she could have run, or she could stay with the party, and it was really sort of it was a bit of a turning point for Ayla, I think, in that she was like, I need to stay with these people, which isn't usually like her. She's sort of been on her own for so long, which was quite interesting, I think, or internally. I don't know if that came through on stream because it was probably mostly in my head, but there you go. Secrets.
Outside of mechanics, what would you consider Ayla's greatest flaw and greatest strength? So we're moving into interview territory now.
Ooh. Good question. I think she puts up walls with, like, just trying to. So if people ask her questions that she's uncomfortable with, she'll just throw a wall up and make a sassy remark or be sarcastic and just sort of bat it away. So I guess that's a flaw, is that she's fine talking about other people's stuff, but she doesn't tend to like getting herself personally involved. She sort of will give you the bare minimum. So that's probably a flaw. Strength, good question. She's not afraid to do what needs done, I think. Like, she doesn't have as much hesitation maybe as the other guys do, which is something that I'm working on as a player, because I'm not very good at taking risks. So I think with Ayla, I'm really trying to sort of say, okay, like, she wouldn't be scared in this situation, she would do it. So it's something that might not have come across yet, but it's something that I'm trying to do, because especially with my previous character, she's very, very cautious, and that could have been because it was my first campaign, but and because it was sort of somewhat my own personality being a little bit cautious. But that's something that I think is a bit more of a strength for Ayla. Like, she's not scared to do what needs done or say what needs said, to be honest. She's very blunt, which could be seen as a flaw or a strength, depending on the situation.
And do you think that your growth with Ayla's bluntness has that mirrored in your own personality, or is that something solely for the table?
I think it's just solely for the table. I hope it is anyway. No, I think that I'm much more like, yeah, I'm not usually very blunt as a person.
Well, it's interesting that you see, or at least I've seen it with a couple of players, where sometimes they'll play characters that are really close to them, and you'll be able to tell. And then sometimes they play characters that are so different that you're amazed at how great they are at role playing. And then some of those traits, because of the repetitive nature and always needed to be in that character, tend to bleed over in much the same way that personality traits bled over into their previous character.
Yeah, definitely. I find that it's really useful, especially like if it's your first character, to sort of have something that you can see similarities in. I find that really useful because I could put myself in a position and say, well, what would I do in that situation? And it would sort of lead you towards what you sort of the right decision would be. Whereas sometimes if it's very removed from what you are, it can be difficult to sort of think, oh, well, that's not what I would usually say. I need to think about this a bit more. So yeah, it's interesting, but I do tend to see little parts of personality, like in different characters, sort of come through a little bit, which is, it's just interesting to notice it when it does happen. Like if you do something in character and you think, okay, that's something that was a little bit of me coming through.
Cool. And Jiggly Fruit asks, do you watch any other D&D shows?
I wish I had time to, because I would love to, but not at the moment. I did watch Critical Role for a little bit. I try and sort of keep up somewhat with what's going on. I'm someone who doesn't really mind seeing spoilers for campaigns, because I like to see how things happen in the game, which I was speaking to actually Brian from D&D Beyond. We met at TwitchCon, and we were talking about spoilers in D&D shows in general. And I'm someone can say to me, "Oh, this person died," and I'm like, "Okay, but how?" Because I want to watch like the whole encounter of how it happened, because you just don't get the full story. It's something that is a process, and when you know the process of making death saves and all of those things, you're like, that had to be an ongoing thing. I want to see it. But yeah, I wish I had more time to watch things. I really should. I try to sometimes think if I could put it on the background at work, but then work's sometimes so busy that you just don't get the chance to do anything like that. So eventually I will start watching more.
You know, if I can pass along a tip, one of the ways that I've found to make more time for D&D streaming shows is to listen to it in podcast form on my commute.
True. I could do that. Would give me 40 minutes a day, at least.
Yeah.
Of podcasts. So maybe this is something that I need to look into.
Yeah, because then, you know, you get home, you only got 20 minutes to finish up. So you might just sit in the car and completely skip dinner, but it's fine.
I just walk to work, so I'm just going to be walking through the park, like in my own little world,
right?
My own little D&D world.
That's perfect. Nightjar asks, if Ayla had a chance to go back and not meet the party, would she? Or does she feel she's gained enough from being with them, either from friendships or knowledge about her clan, that she'd keep things as is? Ooh, would she retcon?
I don't know. They're in a pretty bad position at the moment, but I don't think so. I think given the current situation, she feels that she wants to see this through. And people who are caught up will know what I'm talking about, is that she wants to see this through. But before any of this, before we got to Kaylee's rest, she might have thought otherwise. She might have thought, I shouldn't have met these people. So from about then onwards, I think there's been a bit of a turning point for her, and she's thought, actually, you know what? They probably need me a little bit. And she's starting to enjoy the fact that she has some backup as well, which she's not used to.
Sure. Ultimate Gus asks, would you say that Ayla would fit into the Storm King's Thunder adventure book? I don't know if you read that one yet.
Is this with giants?
Yeah.
Yes. I haven't read it in depth at all, so I'm not sure. But anything stormy. So with Ayla's storm powers, I know that she's a Storm Herald barbarian, and you can change the type of damage you do and change the element to it when you level up. But I've made a decision that I wouldn't do that with Ayla. I'm going to keep her doing lightning damage, just from a character point of view. That's sort of what she's had, what she grew up having, these lightning powers, and that's sort of where I'm taking it in that direction. So potentially she could end up in that kind of area, because she's sort of avoiding those other elements at the moment.
Interesting.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Telstat asks, speaking of 5 characters, what's your next race or class? Mark permitting, of course.
Mark permitting. We were talking about this the other day, actually, and I'm quite intrigued by rangers. So I think I might be a ranger next time. Yeah, we'll see. I think some of the other guys had some more ideas about their characters, but I think ranger or... Yeah. And the thing is, I always end up playing elves, but I don't know what race I would play again. I haven't thought it through. I'd probably try something a bit different, but... Yeah, like I said, I was going to try and do something different to an elf this campaign, and then Mark said Viking elves, and it all went downhill.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right.
They're just so good, though. Why would you not want to be an elf?
Right. I also like to play elves. They're very nice.
They are nice,
and they do work really well with a lot of different classes. So
yeah.
I'm opening up some Ayla chests real quick, see if I can grab an epic. Because I've got her rared out. No epics. Wait, one more. So I know, right? I got to get more. So one of the things that I love to do with content creators when we're working with them is I'll do a first pass on the equipment, and kind of take my best shot at the character's voice, and then send it over to the content creator. And sometimes there's a little bit of edit, sometimes they just completely rewrite it, and that's totally cool. And then sometimes it's a little bit of both. Can you talk about what it was like to write the names and flavor text equipment or equipment flavor text for the character?
Yeah, no, it was really cool. The whole process is very, very collaborative and very, very fun to do. Um, and there's such a high level of detail that you guys put into things, and it's very clear sort of what each sort of stage of the equipment is, which is really awesome. Um, so yeah, it was sort of a bit of a joint effort from me and Kim, because Kim is very good with words. She used to do journalism and everything, so she's very good at writing things. So she sort of tidied things up a little bit. But it was just for me trying to get sort of a little bit of Ayla's sort of sarcasm and sass over into those items, which was fun. It's always fun to do that kind of stuff.
Was there one particular item or flavor line that you looked at afterwards and was like, yeah, that was a home run?
Oh, which one? I like the tartan ones personally because those were like just nice ones for me, because
Hmm.
that's an important item for him. But the Mr. Snappy, the trap, was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Mr. Snappy, the trap.
that
Don't step on it. Pro tip: don't step on it.
right. It's like you're speaking from experience. All
But yeah,
right. Well, that's cool. I really appreciated your insight on the character. I think you ended up doing about half of them, and each one was just turning it up to 11 compared to what I had. So thanks for working on that.
no, that's cool. It was really useful though to have the sort of the basis to go on, to sort of see what kind of things we should write in there, and then just tweak it slightly to fit Ayla a little bit.
Cool.
That was really fun. And also seeing the different gear items was really cool. And it's I've just been going, Mark, 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 look how cool this hammer is. Wouldn't it be cool if my hammer could be upgraded to look like this hammer? So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All you need is a little bit of Play-Doh and some glue.
Yeah,
You can bling that
it'll be
thing
fine.
out.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think what we're trying to do with Ayla's hammer is, rather than find different weapons as we level up, we're just going to level up this one item for her.
mhm.
So she will always have the Howling Gale. It'll just be different versions of it and different enchantments and things. Basically, my end goal is Thor, and I want it to come back to me when I throw it.
Nice.
We'll see. He knows this. He knows this is my end goal, and he's like, "We'll see."
Has anyone approached you for a crossover with another show like DCA potentially?
Um,
If you can
Not
speak
at the
about that.
moment, I don't think. I don't think we've had anyone approach us just yet about a crossover, because we are sort of in our own little world. Um, but that's not to say we're not open to doing things with other people. We'd love to be involved, but at the moment, I think whenever we collaborate, it tends to be someone going into either our world or us going into their world with a different character, or sort of going in especially. So Mark was in Critical Role and he brought a new character completely. He brought Callie there,
Hmm.
which is sort of in that world. Whereas I don't think he'd really add that to Erois. And then yeah, it depends, because we did have Nate come in and play an existing character in our Twitch one shot. So our TwitchCon one shot, which was cool, and it was sort of, oh, planar magic has transported him here. So there's always something there, and we'd love to collaborate with people. So yeah, we've got lots of friends in the D&D world that we'd love to have on Erois if they're ever in the UK.
Nice. And you guys are also going to be at D&D Live, and I think last year they definitely did mix up some of the groups for some of the shows.
Yes, we are. We're going to be at D&D Live. I'm not too sure what we're going to be doing just yet. I don't think
Hmm.
anyone's too sure what we're doing, but um, at least when we were at Stream of Annihilation, we played with Dylan Sprouse there, so he
Hmm.
joined our group for a session, which was great. And yeah, we'll see. We've met quite a few of the groups that are going already, so it'll be fun to see them again. And of course, if anyone wants to collaborate while we're there, or we're open to whatever. If anyone wants us to guest on, just come and ask us, and we'll be happy to.
Right? Just as easy as a quick Skype connection.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be super fun. And we've all got sort of a lot of characters, I guess, that we've played in the past that we could bring over really easily. And yeah, it would be cool.
I agree. Let's see. Pizza9798 says, I got to episode 26 of Erois and I've decided to take a small break before moving on to 27.
That's
Is
fair.
this reaction normal?
Yes, because I have seen other people saying the same thing. Because episode 26 was such a um, massive, massive plot twist. It was just a complete plot twist, and it sort of has put us in a completely new place. So it's understandable, and to be honest, it's a good time to take a break if you want one. But what I will say is that we're very much in the swing of things, as we always have been in this new sort of chapter, I guess. So once you get over that initial shock, definitely come back. There's been a lot of cool character development as part of what happened in episode 26. And we've got Rhiannon is happy. So don't worry about that. I don't want to spoil everything. I'm trying so hard not to give spoilers
I know.
now.
I'm wondering how far you're going to go. I'm like, ooh, should I jump in? What's going on?
I'm gonna stop.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop now. But
I do have
do
another
do
question.
do come back.
I'm going to just stop you right there.
Yep.
Would
Stop me.
would Ayla ever backstab the party if the personal gain was large enough? I saw that smirk. You're like, ooh.
For a second there, I was like, um, I don't think she would at this point. I think, like I say, there was a bit of a turning point where she was like, okay, I should stick with these people. But before that, she might have. Like back when they were in Rose Hall, she might have done that because she didn't really care either way. Whereas now they've gone through quite a lot together, and I think she understands that they will actually help her to get to what she needs to do as well. Um, so I don't think she would abandon them now, even if there was. I don't think that she's that fussed about material gain, to be honest. She's sort of grown up to do what she needs to survive, and as long as she's got enough to survive, she's not too fussed, even though she'll try and get a lot of money off of Lucius when he's being dumb because he can't count. But that's just fun.
Let's see. Ooh, hang on. I gotta level my characters up, otherwise they're gonna get
Nice.
stuck. What this is free play. Humanoids. Humanoids. So you and Tom went through a gameplay session playing through the game.
We did.
Was there what was that like opening up your character and gearing them up for the first time?
So exciting. I think everyone could tell. Me and Tom were just like, oh, there she is. And it's not even Tom's character. And he was just as excited, I think, to see one of us in there because whenever I see, so obviously Satine's characters in here, Anna and Holly and Nate, and Jared. So whenever I saw them on Twitter going, "Oh, my character's in the game," I thought that's really cool. That's awesome because it was really cool to see the gifs and all of the artwork and the style and see them in action. So to see Ayla in there is just like, oh my goodness, it's so cool. And then to put her gear on and to see the hammer and everything, just so cool.
That's
So
awesome.
cool.
So let me pick your brain on high rollers
Sure.
stuff. So as you know, we're going to be bringing the rest of your high roller crew in. Quill's going to be the next one. Uh,
Yeah.
what should he be doing? Should he be healing? Should he be barding? Should he be uh, building a mechanical wing to take flight?
That's a good question. He should be healing and he should be doing a lot of things, but he doesn't usually do those things. So who knows? Quill healing? What? He never heals. So I don't know what his yeah in chat. He should be healing.
I
He
need
should.
him to heal.
I need him to heal. Um, I think it's interesting. I don't think he would be building a mechanical wing because I think he's sort of the flying thing is a touchy subject for him
Yeah.
at the moment, I think. But definitely healing, doing some bard, definitely lots of feathery spells. He tends to, when he casts his spells, have feathers fly out from his wing, which is really cool. It's an awesome visual. So I'd like to see those kind of things, I guess. I'm sure he will agree. But
Yeah, that
obviously that's up to him how he wants his attacks to look, but that's typically how he describes them, which I think would be really interesting to see in the game.
that's a really good note, especially since we've already talked to Tom and he didn't mention anything about feathery spells. So, Alexis,
Tom Hazel.
you gotta take notes, and we gotta call Tom back and give him some crap.
Yeah, give him some. It's how he describes it. Every time he does it, he's like, and a bunch of feathers fly out from my wing, and he makes it really visual and awesome.
It's been a couple of months since we talked to him, but I don't think I saw anything about feathers during that call.
And interestingly, actually, when he's been doing spiritual weapon, he has sometimes been conjuring an image of Ayla's howling gale as his spiritual weapon.
Oh, interesting.
Which is kind of cool.
That's
I don't know if there's any
cool.
cross opportunity there.
Well, we do have a cleric that has spiritual weapon. We have Neris in the game. Oh, and she's on the next slot. And she has a spiritual weapon that moves around to other people. So, the tech's there.
There you go. So yeah, he sometimes does that. I need to just tell him to tell you guys this because he should have already.
Note, call Tom back.
Call him out.
Yeah, all right. Feather spells.
Feathers.
I thought I was kidding. I'm not. I pulled it up. I searched. Nothing about feathers flying out of his arm.
I'm going to tell him this.
You will.
Tom.
He's gonna get a call next week. Do you have any favorite D&D characters you're excited to see Ayla fighting side by side with in Idle Champions?
Well, I was really excited to see her fighting with Strix because I think Holly's character is just so, she's just so well established at this point, and the way that Holly just embraces it and everything about it, and there's so many little details. So honestly, I'm psyched already that she's fighting alongside Strix, but it would be really cool to see some of the Critical Role guys in the game. Might be cool to see Ayla and Yasha take on some bad guys together. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, Critical Role if you're listening.
Get him in the game.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Ayla with the whole Aroas crew.
Yeah, definitely.
We've got an affiliation locked in for you guys, so now we just got to build the team out.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's going to be really cool to see them. And I'm sure Tom said this in the stream, but you're going to have fun creating Lucius's jacket because it's got about 20 million gems on it. So
well, luckily I don't have to draw all those gems. That's all right. They'll be all excited about it. All right, so we got a couple more questions before I let you go. And thank you again for coming to chat with us. I know that it's late on your end. Especially, I
would only be up watching some random Netflix show that I shouldn't be watching and going to bed instead because I'm up too late. So it's fine.
If you haven't already watched it, you should check out She-Ra. It's amazing.
Oh, really? Yeah. I've been rewatching Buffy actually recently, which is an odd choice all of a sudden. But yes.
I don't know. It's worth a rewatch. I haven't watched it for years.
I forgot a lot of things about it, so it's pretty good.
I keep waiting for the Blu-ray version. They did an HD version, but they did horrible cropping and stuff.
I saw that. It looks terrible.
Yeah. So I guess I'll have to rewatch it as the regular SD version.
Yep.
But yeah, She-Ra was awesome, and the second season's coming out next week, I think.
Noted.
Super duper. Noted. Cool. So let's see. What's next for you? What's going on for the rest of the week?
For me personally, not too much. Heading off to Insomnia 64 tomorrow in the UK, which is a gaming event. Just going for the day. And then this weekend it's bank holiday weekend in the UK, so it's supposed to be really sunny, which will be nice. So you've got a little bit of a break, and then high rollers on Sunday as normal. So yeah.
So at the event, will anyone be able to go to see you anywhere? Like, are you on a panel, or are you just
no? Unfortunately, not. I'm just roaming around at this one. So if anyone does see me, feel free to say hi. If there's any UK people going to I-64, say hi to me. Don't be shy. I sometimes get people tweeting me after going, "I saw you in this place and I didn't want to bother you." And I'm like, "Say hi. Just say hi."
Well, luckily, you're easy to pick out in a crowd with that hair.
I am. Yeah, you can spot me from a mile away. I can't hide. It's like a beacon.
And you're going to be on High Rollers this weekend. What episode are you guys on now?
Oh goodness.
Oh, I'm
What
sorry.
episode are we on? Uh,
Kept talking about
don't
26,
know.
so I was trying to figure out how far
Yeah,
that's
I
been.
feel like 26 is stuck because 26 was when things went down, and and now we're quite a few past that. So,
Okay.
someone might know in chat. Let me know if you know what number it is. I don't keep up with numbers of them. I'm terrible. But yeah, we're going live anyway. 5 p.m. BST on twitch.tv/Yogscast. And High Rollers D&D. So that should
I'm
be
not
fun.
even I was gonna try and do the time difference for people, but now I'm all confused. I think
31 or 32, episode 32. There we go.
32.
Episode 32. There we go. But this one is actually going to be, we're going straight into a big scary boss fight. So
Exciting.
who knows what's going to happen? Maybe episode 32 will be the last. Who knows? Hopefully
no.
not. Hopefully not. But yeah, old bird boy has burned through all of his spells, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
That bird boy, he's on everyone's crap list.
On my list.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to have Ayla in the game and to finally bring out all the work we've been doing with you over the past couple of months. I hope you can come by and visit us again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for putting Ayla in the game and for just making it such a fun process as well. It's been super, super good. And please unlock Ayla, everybody.
Yeah.
Unlock her. Because she's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, you have a good rest of your evening.
You too. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let's get this all fixed up. All right. Now I get to stare at my mug for the next hour. Let's see. Let's get everything set up. All right. So we're playing through an Ayla free play. I need some more Ayla gold chests. Let me pull that up. How's everyone doing? We got a few questions for me from chat, but not nearly that many. Come on, we got to fill a whole hour, guys. Let's get some more questions going. Let's see. Oh, I already got my gold chest, or my random chest. Let's hope it's a gold chest. I think we'll just keep running. Get these guys leveled up. So busy week last week. We announced our April Fool's joke was not an April Fool's joke, and Spurt, the Kobold Rogue, is going to be joining Idle Champions, starting with the next event. Let's see. What do we have for questions? Question 1. Isn't Dylan back yet? No, Dylan is not back yet. He should be coming home this weekend, and hopefully not too jet lagged, so that he can jump back in and hit the ground running. Because I'm done flicking gum at his desk. He's got to come back at some point. No, he'll be back next week. He's having an amazing time at Hawaii. He's been sending us pictures of all the cool volcanoes and stuff he's been seeing, and we're super excited to get him back. Question, Chris, since we blame you for everything, thanks guys, did you secretly kill Dylan and hide his corpse somewhere over the Pacific Ocean? All right, first off, if I was going to hide a body in the ocean, I'd hide it in the ocean, not over the ocean. That's just a avenue to get caught. No, I did not kill Dylan and hide him in the Pacific Ocean. He landed in Hawaii, and he's having a wonderful time with his bride. Question from Mystero C3. Is there a Robo Evelyn skin? Not yet. Question from Redlink259. What is the process of picking other characters for champions? I'm just curious. They're much like many things in this game, in the design and development of the game, it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle because we need to find the right characters for the right slots. We need to find the right characters for the right marketing opportunities. We need to find the right characters for the right roles we need to fill in with our champions. So it is a constant shuffle. I've talked on a couple of occasions how the rest of year 2 is full. we're still doing rejiggering with some of the later in the year 2 champions. And so now I've got a hole, but I know that I need to fill it with a lore-based gem find person. So now I got to go dig in and find that. So there are so many different variables. Yeah, to start, I have to think about the previous year's event champion. We don't want to have the same class or the same. Well, the role is okay as long as it's not double DPS. I won't do that again. Sorry. You want to make sure you're not in that slot. You want to make sure you're increasing the diversity of the champions. You want to make sure you're increasing, giving characters alternate views of different classes that they've seen in other opportunities. You want to fill holes that we need with the champions. We want to solve for some design issues like speeding up the game or whatever with Deacon. There's a lot of different reasons, and characters are picked for different reasons, and the puzzle comes in with how we slot them in. So yeah, it's a big puzzle. There's a lot of different things that go into choosing the right champion for the right event, and it's all a matter of balancing. Thantrax says, more chests for Ayla. I want her in my main team, but need more chests for her to make her totally awesome. Keep grinding those free plays before Monday. Level 50, reset. Level 50, reset. You can keep getting chests that way. I also try to log in on Monday before the event's done. If I still end up having over 10,000 chests, I'll go ahead and buy an event chest for 10,000 event currency. You can do that by going to the store and finding the champion and selecting their one chest for 10,000 of the event currency, because the currency is going to go away. So remember to log in on Monday, and if you've still got a ton of currency left, spend it on a gold chest. Hi, Chris. What was the total increase of the blessing of slow and steady? It's a little vague and it's not listed anywhere in the incoming abilities. I don't know. I would need to check that out. Erica, can you flag that to ask Mark or Peter or Justin? That'd be great. The mom unit. Hi, Chris. It's your friendly weekly reminder about the coloring book. Also, grats on Bushwhacker. Thanks. Yes. Congratulations to everyone here at Codename. One of our live service games, Bushwhacker 2, has entered its 7th year of live service. So the team just had a really exciting party out there, it sounded like. And I'm totally not sad sitting here alone with my cake. Not at all. Oh, wow. It's real good. Yes, and in regards to the coloring book, I forgot to tell my marketing director that we were going to put it out, and then he said, but I have this other opportunity, so we might have to wait just a little bit longer for the coloring book. I'm so sorry. You can blame Chris for that. It's my fault. We had too many balls juggling in the air, and I totally miscommunicated that we were going to launch that, and we will do it soon. But thank you for continuing to remind me. I want to get that coloring book out. I do. There's just a couple of things we have to get done with it first. Mikal Jolson asks, when is the next event starting? The next event is going to start not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that. That's going to be the running with Caddy Bree and Spurt. So 2 weeks for that. Next week is going to be Grand Tour 8 and the finale of our Barovian adventures. And for those of you that like the Easter eggs at the end of the movie, you should stick around to our live stream for the final scene to see a little preview of next week's content. Thantrax, when Spurt was initially announced, was it intended that Spurt would be included in the game, or did that decision come after the release? I believe Chris Perkins was on Critical Role on On January 31st, and on February 1st, when I came into the office, I knew that I wanted him to be a champion. But it has taken this long to actually get it into the game. The cool thing was the April Fool's opportunity came out as we were starting to talk about what our marketing beats with Spurt would be. So we put the April Fool's joke out there. We loved seeing all the support for Spurt from the April Fool's joke, and specifically Garwar, who jumped into every thread I saw about it and explained how mad they were that it wasn't real. I'm sorry. What kind of character will Spurt be? Spurt will be a rogue support character. I can't give away too much because spoilers. But no, we've got a fun design for Spurt. He's going to play a little bit differently than some of the other champions, so he's going to be a unique character, and I really hope everyone enjoys his quirkiness. How excited are you for Spurt? To the moon excited about Spurt. I love working with Chris Perkins, and Spurt gave me the opportunity to work with him again and help to bring this awesome character that he threw together one afternoon to life. And so I'm super duper excited about it. And within the office, we've been championing him and doing our best to bring out the best qualities of Spurt. So it's really a team effort here, and everyone's been working on Spurt, and everyone's been having a lot of fun. Just wait till you see all of Kat's awesome equipment and Adam's awesome work with the animation. It's crazy. Alexis's portraits. It's just so much fun, and he's such a quirky character, and I am gonna love writing dialogue for Spurt, because you'll see that we for the first year or so we didn't have a lot of event characters in dialogue, but you'll see in the newer adventures I like to sprinkle in a little bit of event dialogue with event characters. But I normally only do that with characters that I'm really comfortable with, that I understand their voice. Well, since Spurt only had a voice for 20 minutes, I think I'm pretty good with the Spurt voice. So I'm going to be excited about some fun confusion between him and Jarlaxle. Kavraka says, new player here. Have any tips for someone just starting out? I'm doing the Endless War in Rack now. Kavraka, my best suggestion is know when to reset. So with this game, at least for me, the biggest hurdle I had to overcome was feeling like resetting was the right move, because you play the adventure, you get your characters out, you get them really geared up, they're doing massive damage, and you just love that power that you have. And you kind of don't want to give it up by hitting reset, but you're going to get to a point where you're not going to see that favor continue to go up as quickly anymore. And when you start to hit your wall and you see that your favor's not increasing, like every 20 minutes check on it, but when you start to realize your favor is leveling out, it's time to reset, as long as you finish the adventure. So normally on the first playthrough of an event, I'll push as far as I can, so that second playthrough, I'll have a good amount of favor. So the further you push on that first run, the more gold you'll have, and that converts to more favor. So by getting over that feeling that you... Ooh, I might not have this on. Hang on a second. By getting over that feeling that you need to know how to... you need to find the right time to reset. It opens up all these possibilities, because you'll realize it's like, all right, well, I could keep going on this, but if I reset now, I'll get my reward, I'll get a decent amount of favor, and I can push further next time. So yeah, not being scared to reset, and then not devoting too much time to a variant if you've realized that you're not strong enough for it. If you get, like, let's say it's a variant that the target's level 200 and you're hitting your wall at 160, don't try to grind through 40 levels, because the curve in power is just going to be way too much. So reset if you're hitting your wall before your goal. Try to mix up your formation. Check out the discord.gg/idlechampions. There's a formation channel. If you're up against a wall and you just need a little bit extra, posting the formation there can get some great tips from our community. And yeah, just have fun, try new things out. Don't feel like you always have to use the same characters. Mix it up and have fun. Chris, Telstat asked, am I at all concerned that some people question your survival? Now I am. I'm not sure where you're going with that. I'm good though. Let's see. Fiery Crystal says, could you guys boost the power of Tyrell's wild shape rather than nerfing his moonbeam specialization? I would like to tank with him, but his buffing power in wild shape is just so much weaker than his other specialization. It shouldn't actually be just that much weaker. It should be just one or two bonuses weaker. With the revamp that came around the tanking and healing update and more of our more current design thinking is when you choose a specialization, you're doubling down on one aspect, but you're not doubling down at the sacrifice of another aspect. That other aspect is still there. It's just not as buffed as it would have been had you chosen that specialization. Tyrell's a little bit of an outlier because he's one of the few that really have a very strong shift one way or the other. But we're probably not going to roll back on the Moonbeam slight small nerf that we gave him. But that's not to say that we can't buff up his wild shape a little bit more if he's not filling that role, that tank role effectively. We can definitely look at that. Sudin asks, how did Ayla and the other non-Forgotten Realms champions come to be included in this Forgotten Realms game? Well, in the D&D world, planar travel is a thing. We've gone to Barovia. There's notes in the DMG about Planescape, and it is becoming more and more of a thing that D&D is a multiverse and there are multiple worlds, and there's travel between those worlds. So in order to bring a character that's not from Forgotten Realms into the game, we need to work with both the creator of the character and Wizards to align it to Forgotten Realms. With Ayla, there wasn't much that we needed to do. Some of the other characters from the High Rollers will need to be tweaked a little bit. But we'll be transparent about that and tell you where we had to move things around. We don't have an in-world location. We don't have like a portal where all these characters are coming out of. We're hand waving that. We're planar travel's a thing. Is there a way to get event currency other than the regular about 1 every 30 seconds or using bounty contracts? No. There's a set number of event currency that comes out, and if you're away for a while, you'll get it when you come back. And then bounty contracts. So bounty contracts, and a new note for newer players. When you start an event, when an event starts, you're probably, unless you're coming in like an hour or two later, you might not have enough currency to start the event right away. Toss a bounty contract because it's not only going to drop that time's worth of gold, it's also going to drop that time's worth of event currency. So it's a good way to get right into the event right away. Just pop a quick bounty contract. But no, unless I'm forgetting something, there isn't any other way to get event currency. What characters are going to be part of the weekend buff? Okay, I can answer that. Hang on. The weekend buff this weekend is the Ashara Takes Flight weekend. Binwin, Ishi, Ashara, Minsk, and Tyrell will be a part of the buff this weekend. So Ishi, Binwin, Ashara, Minsk, and Tyrell. What slot will Spurt take up? Because that's not final yet, I don't want to say. But we have an idea for him. We think we have a good spot for him, but playtesting may change that. So I don't want to say yet. If the event comes in 2 weeks, when can we expect the second Spurt Champion highlight? You should expect the second Spurt Champion highlight 2 Tuesdays from now. I gotta write another one. I already wrote a champion spotlight for that guy. Do Wolfgar and Dritz need a rework? I have not gotten very far, but they feel kind of weak. Yes, Wolfgar and Dritz and all of the companions of the hall could use a TLC pass, that's for sure. Why do your UI boxes around the current level look so much cleaner than mine? The UI boxes around the current level look so much cleaner. Uh, is it just a setting or a beta build that isn't out? No, I'm playing the build that you're playing right now. It's probably just a setting. There is UI scaling that you can do. Right now I'm at 1920 by 1080 at 100% scaling. If I change that, the boxes might get a little bit different. So... no, that looks okay. Oh, yeah, they're kind of edging over the edges now. So I would mess with the UI scaling a little bit and see if you can get your UI. Ooh, look at that. See if you can get your UI to the way you like it. Zirns asks, should I open all the chests I have immediately, or is there a reason to hoard them? As a new player, I would recommend opening up your chests as soon as possible. Gear bonuses are significant, so having the right piece of gear at the right time can make or break an adventure. So I would definitely not hoard them. Having said that, remember that silver chests reward gold based on the level you're at. So when you go to open a silver chest, it's going to give you gold based on the level that you're at. So I'm at 2.38 E20 on those gold pieces right now. But if I roll back 30 levels, let's say if I would have opened that half hour ago, I would only get E17 instead of E20. So if you're going to open silver chests, I would wait until later in an adventure because they can help to push you over the edge if you need to level up. Yeah, so wait till later levels for silver chests. Apologize, I lost my train of thought there. But gold chests, yeah, open right away. The only reason I would consider hoarding gold chests is if you're really close to a evergreen champion unlock like Dritz or Azaka. Just holding on to them until they are part of the pool. So when you open them, there's an opportunity to gear them up. Otherwise, I would just open the chests you have right away. Zylox 1994 asks, as somewhat of a new player, 1 week old, do you think it'll be possible for me to clear the hardest variant of the Greengrass event? I think so. We had plenty of new players clearing all the events last year, so it's all about waiting until probably the last weekend to get the really hard variants done, and making sure that when you're going through variants, push a little bit further each time. Even if the goal, let's say the last time you did a free play, you got to 170 and the goal for the next adventure is 175, push a little bit farther, get to 180, get to 185, because when you reset, that'll turn into extra gold find and you'll be able to go further and further each time. Additionally, if you're trying to push further, consider pots, consider giant strength to give your champions more damage, and clairvoyance to give your characters more gold, especially if you're pushing or trying to push further than you've been able to get on a free play. No Mercy Nerd asks, I have all the blessings maxed. Which favor should I be banking for the next tier expansion? Well, the next week's event is next week's adventures are going to be in the Grand Tour, so that would be my first suggestion. And then the next campaign that's getting an adventure is going to be Dragon Heist, so I would consider those two. But overall, I think Grand Tour is always a safe bet. Let's see. Is the time gates the only? Are the time gates the only way to find old event heroes? And how do you find time gates? Yes. Time gates are the only way to get older heroes without waiting for their new event or going to the store. Time gates are a way that we wanted to allow players to grind the event champions, even if they're new to the game, even if they haven't been playing. We wanted an opportunity for you to be able to come back every couple of weeks and get a new champion, especially for newer players. So the time gates are found by clicking this time gate dialog up here. or by clicking the time gates here. And normally, time gates will open every 3 weeks. So this Friday, so whenever there's an off week for an event, so whenever it's not an event weekend, it's a time gate weekend. So this Friday, the time gate's going to open naturally, and you won't have to spend any time gate pieces. However, up until 3 days before the event, you can open a time gate on your own. So right now I have 11 time gate pieces. I need 6 to open a time gate on my own. If you want to spend those time gate pieces, if you're done with the event and you want to move on, you can open up a time gate whenever you want. The only time it's going to limit you is if a time gate is already open, or if you're within 3 days of a time gate naturally opening. And when you have a time gate, you'll be able to see the equipment for the champion that you have, or if you don't have it, it won't have the equipment. And then you can choose which time gate to go into. So I love me some deacons. So let's do a deacon time gate. You open the gate. It gives you a warning because you can't go back once you pick a character. And then you can play through 2 different adventures to get 2 gold chests for that champion. If you don't have the champion, the first adventure will unlock that for you. So when you complete this adventure at Area 50, it'll unlock the champion. The caveat is this runs just like a regular event, and you don't have any favor in that event. So the first run's going to be slow going. You're going to have to level up your character, probably use some silver chests, and then you want to push a little bit past 50 so that you'll be able to hit 75 on your next run. And then if you want to run some free plays, you won't earn chests for them, but you will earn additional favor, which once you're done with the time gate, you can then convert into whichever currency you want, or whichever divine favor you want. So when you're not in an active event, there would be a play button here. But since I'm in an active event, it says complete current adventure to start a time gate. So yeah, that is how you find old event heroes. And again, the Discord is a great opportunity to ask folks if you're not sure which champion you want. You can just jump into the tavern and say, hey, I've got a time gate with these 3 champions. Which one do you think is the best? And I'm sure people will have many opinions. Go ahead and close this. Oh, you know what? Let's go do a deacon time gate. We'll finish this event. Hopefully get a gold chest. All right. Ah, silver chest. All right, Naeli was my highest damage dealer. So let's go to the time gate. See, now that I'm not in a current adventure, it has a button for me. So I'll hit play, and that'll take me back to Deacon's event. You're not going to be playing through the current event. You're going to be playing through Deacon's event, which I believe was Founders Day. So that's another benefit, is that you'll be able to play through an event that you would otherwise have to wait until July to play through. So for those of you that really like the narrative of the story and like to see all the quirky stuff we do on different adventures, time gates are an awesome way to do that. Come here. There we go. Doop, doop, doop. Doop, doop. Got some familiars. All right. Let's go ahead and pop clairvoyance and a little bit of speed. There we go. Ronanzo asks, hi, Chris, your actual formation, is that competitive or just fun, or fun by talking formation? The formation that I had up, I apologize that I just cleared it. The formation that I had up was just for fun. Luckily, I've got a lot of gear, and so I don't have to worry as much about formations, at least not unless I'm close to my wall. So that formation was just for fun. What's up, Celeste? Oh yeah, this formation. I forgot about this one. What am I even doing? What are you doing? I don't want you. I'll take Deacon. Deacon's so much better. Okay. What is the point of putting non-doable achievements within the game instead of adding them when they are reachable? I believe one can actually reach 230 or so out of 245. I don't believe we have non-doable achievements. I can hit past 240. It all depends on how long you've been playing. So for players that have been around since September, you should be able to achieve all the achievements. If there is one that is unachievable, if you could let us know and we could look into it. But yeah, we don't want to. Besides the legacy achievements, which are old achievements that have been replaced or are no longer valid due to a tweak to the champion, all of the achievements should be achievable. But yeah, Coronons, if you can update us with what achievement you think is unachievable, we can take a look at that. Hellish Dreams says, given that the majority of tanks are female, 4-2, are there any male tanks in the pipeline? We just did a tank in Ayla. I don't think that we're going to have another tank within the next 2 or 3 months. I had a male tank penciled in, but then I moved him out a little bit. I'll take that under consideration. We don't really... We try to make sure there's... parity and that there are as close to an equal number of women, male as female characters. But in terms of which role is getting more women or more men, I guess that's another piece of the puzzle that I could look into. But that's not normally one that that I pay attention to. Let's see. Alabama asks, if reworking Champions of the Hall, any chance we will see Regis's spider persona? I don't know. That's a good question. I believe I'm going to. I believe I'm. I don't know. So for those of you that don't know, like me, for those of you that aren't aware, the Champions of the Hall during the Sundering went through a rebirth cycle where they were reborn in different bodies, and they had all their memories from their past lives, and they basically needed to grow up again, and in some cases live an entirely new life, or in all cases, I guess, live an entirely new life and then find each other again. Spoilers. And so that's what that question is referring to. And I haven't solved for how I want to represent that on the characters, whether the redesign would introduce aspects of those characters, or if I saved that for like skins or just stuck with the classic versions. I don't know. I haven't solved that problem yet. Xylox 1994 asks, as a new player, when should I invest on my 2 familiars? That is a great question. I think you can get 5 familiars for gems, but each one has an increasing cost. I would stick with silver chests for gems until you've filled out most of your slots. Silver and gold chests, that is. And then once you've filled out most of your slots, I would switch to familiars. Having said that, if I were going to start over on a new platform, I'd probably get at least Mage Hand fairly early, because the ability to throw a familiar out to help you click while you're setting up a formation, especially early on in time gate adventures or event adventures, excuse me, I'm so sorry, is really good. So I think I might always recommend getting the Mage Hand as soon as possible, just because it's 1,000 gems. It's basically you're choosing this instead of 2 gold chests at that point. But having a familiar, whether you want to level click damage, whether you want to have them attack, or whether you want to just level your main DPS champion while you're away for the night, they're super versatile. So I would definitely recommend getting one sooner rather than later. But I would then focus on gear before you spend a ton of gems on the rest. Kavraka asks, is there a way to speed up gameplay? Yes, you'll see that I've actually used a speed potion right now. So the game is actually running at about 2.75 times its normal speed. And if I drink another potion, that's not the right potion. If I drink another speed potion, it'll go a little bit faster. So now I'm going 6 times as fast. It's a little jarring, and it's a little, it's really they're flying by. But if you're just trying to speed it up and get to your wall a little bit quicker, speed potions are definitely a good way to do it. Additionally, both Deacon and Diath will help you get through levels or areas a little bit quicker. Deacon increases the spawn speed rate of monsters, and Diath will allow you to have certain monsters count twice for quest rewards. But yeah, look at these 2 speed potions. I am just flying. I'm going to have a Deacon chest in no time. Let's do War Domain. Let's put you out there. Put Deacon up there. All right. Tungvint asks, why do you think it's important to have parity between male and female characters? Well, because we as a human race are 51% female, and I think that the more things feel like what you see, the more you can become steeped in the reality. I think it's important that to remember that games are for everyone. A whole swath of players play this game, and we want all of them to feel welcome, included, and feel like there are characters that they can relate to and personify with. That's the wrong word. But yeah, I think it's very important to have parity between male and female characters. Now, the challenge comes with not only having parity on a release cadence, but also working in parity for each class. And we don't normally think of gender when it comes to each class. I mean, both women and men can be any class in the game. So, yeah, it's sort of one of those things that feels like a no-brainer for us, making sure that there's a good amount of diversity in our game, and making sure that there's an equal amount of male and female characters. Jiggly Fruit asks, is there a dream character you would want in the game? I think someone asked me this last week. Is there a dream character I would want in the game? Well, for the longest time, and I apologize, I think this is the same answer I gave last week, but for the longest time, Farida was the character that I wanted in the game. I really like Farida. I like Aaron M. Evans' books, and so when I had more of a role in choosing the champions, I definitely flagged Farida as one of the first ones to add in. Let's see. Dream character. Honestly, probably one of the Critical Role characters. I'd love to play around with those characters. I think they would fit so well in our game, and I'd love to get them. We're going to complete and see what we got for... No, we're going to keep going a little bit. So this is a good thing. Right now, I've got 134 Mr. Favor. So if I complete right now and jump right into the next adventure, I'm only going to get a small boost. I'm only going to get another probably a couple 100% increase, if that. But you can see right now that it's continuing to tick up. I'm already at 150, and my guys are showing no sign of stopping. So I'm going to keep running, because it'll make that next run to 75 that much easier. Imagine right now, my wall's not going to be there, but imagine my wall was 60 or 65. By pushing to that wall on this run, I'll get more favor for the next run, and I'll be able to push even further. Telstat, what is the probability of a gold chest in event free play? I don't remember the probability. Erica, can you ask Justin? I don't remember what the probability of a gold chest is in a free play. Brett Day 83 asks, can we have an option to end or suspend the epic speed potion? Maybe. We could definitely look into that. I know that I often use it to get to my wall, and I wouldn't mind turning it off when I'm close to the wall and want to be a little bit more cautious in what I'm doing. So let's say, Justin, please. And okay. Sorry, I lost track of my pages. Question from Brett Day. Oh, no, that was the question he just asked. Question from Phoenix Rising. Nice spelling. Why are you guys looking to bring Dragonbait to the game before Alias? The same question could be asked for any character. You know, why are we bringing Spurt to the game instead of Meepo, or why are we bringing Ayla to the game instead of Quill? It all ties back to that puzzle decision, needing to fit the right character for the right release cadence for our game, for the right roles that we need to fill, for the right opportunity to work with different content creators. It's a constant juggle. Blade Dragon 997 says Spurt has been confirmed to be a rogue. However, his critical role character seemed to be the Kobold Inventor from Volo's Guide. What was the discussion like for having to pick a class for Spurt? Was there talk of actually labeling his class as Inventor? So in deciding what class he would be, I never wanted to. I decided early on I didn't want to do him as an Inventor because classes matter. And even though his stat block says Kobold Inventor, Inventor isn't a class, and we want to make sure that each character is flagged as a race and class. So that way, variants can be included in variants that we have multiple dials to turn for variants. So if I made him an Inventor, then any variant that would require a class or have an option for a class in or out, we'd have to take Inventor into account. We'd always have to remember that we have an Inventor. So I decided to reach out to Chris and said, hey, I'm thinking based on his kit, based on what he did, I think rogue fits. And Perkins agreed that making him a rogue would be fine. So that was the reasoning behind it. That's why we went the rogue route. One, to make sure that he's viable for as many opportunities as possible. If other characters want to be with rogues, then Spurt's their buddy. And then just needing to make a call. And so I made a call for a rogue and double checked with Perkins to make sure he was okay with it, and he was. So Spurt's a rogue. Is there a possibility that you guys would add characters from Baldur's Gate PC games? For sure. You might recognize this guy. Oh, well, when he doesn't have his giant boo costume on. We have Minsk from the Heroes of Baldur's Gate. But bringing in the other characters from the Baldur's Gate PC games, I could definitely see that. If you had to add an official lore character rather than a playable character, who would you pick and why? That is a dangerous question because I pick the characters. It all depends. Like, had you asked me this in May of last year, I wouldn't have said that I'd be picking Olkoria for in the Evergreen of Dragon Heist. It just happened that Olkoria filled a class role. It filled a narrative opportunity for a character tied to the campaign. And then which other characters we'd bring into the game from different lore opportunities. It all depends on which characters are aligned closely to 5e mechanics and 5e storylines, and then just checking with Wizards to see if we can use that character. Zephyrite24 says, could we get a pause button to sort out our champions formation-wise or leveling without having to go to older levels in case what we were doing is overwhelming, to at least give us time to think? Potentially, we could. However, if you pause, you're not going to be collecting gold. Whereas, like, let's say I'm hitting a wall at 96. If I jump back to 81 for a second, where I'm just plowing through them, I can make my changes, but at the same time, I'm collecting gold right now. And my only worry with a pause button is we'd either have to do another gold calculation afterwards, and potentially you might leave the pause button up overnight, which wouldn't be good. we could think about that. But right now, I think it's a better opportunity gold wise to just go back a couple of levels to where it's safer for you and do the adjustments there. But we can definitely look into that. All right, 2:36. We still got some time. Throw some more questions up, guys. Let's see. What do I have for announcements? Dylan is back next week. Dylan is back next week. Did you know Dylan's back next week? It has been wonderful being able to hang out with everyone here for the past 3 weeks, both in the Q&A and in the live streams. But for those of you that never feel like you're truly appreciated at work, go away for a 3-week vacation. You'll be very appreciated when you come home. No, the truth of the matter is Dylan is such a wonderful person at doing what he does. I am filling a seat for him, and I am excited that he'll be back to chat with all of you next week. And I can get back to making sure we put out cool stuff for you guys. Are you looking, question from SketchMonkey007, are you looking into getting a Save Familiar formation to the game? Yes. Every morning we have a stand-up and talk about that and talk about what everyone's working on. And Save Familiars is one of the things that we often talk about. So we will get Save Familiar formations into the system as soon as we can. Tungbent asks, are you not going to be hosting the streams forward when Dylan comes back? Aw, Tungbent, thanks for hanging with me. I remember that name from the past couple of weeks. Yeah, Dylan is our marketing content specialist, and he is the host of our live streams. I am the backup crew that fills in when he is not available. So yes, once Dylan comes back next week, as long as he doesn't have the Hawaii plague, he will be taking over the Q&As and the live streams. But he is every bit as exciting and fun as I am, times 2 or 3. Woo, lots of questions all of a sudden. Let's see. Rare Hall says, you've had a few weeks to propagate this, but do you think we can start the Blame Dylan train? You totally can. Totally can. Save formations. Blame Dylan. No. Let's see. Zephyr V says, do you guys think you'd ever look into making games using the stories from popular campaigns? I'd like a story-based linear game with the story of high rollers and voice acting. Well, I mean, as a game studio, we're looking into a bunch of different games we could be doing. There are always opportunities, and it's all about, where we want to go next as a studio. But right now, we are heavily focused on Idle Champions at the moment, and looking at new opportunities is not really on the horizon. We are focused on bringing out weekly content for Idle Champions, new champions all the time, and new content, new adventures. I don't know where we're going to go after Barovia, but I got to figure that out. We've had an amazing year and a half with Idle Champions so far, and we're looking forward to so many more years. Zornia Stowe asks, how do you change formation? So you can do it a couple of different ways. You can change it individually by taking a character that has a blue button and adding them to the formation. You can drag and drop them out, or you can save your formation. So I can hit save and select a save slot. And now I've got that formation saved, and then you can mess around with it. So I'll add Evelyn, and I'll add Ayla, and I'll add Tyrell, and then I'll save that as formation 2. And if you want to change them on the fly and see what the DPS change is, you can just hit the buttons. The only caveat is you normally can't change the formation of a person that is currently under attack. So that means at a boss level, if it's an AoE boss that's attacking the whole formation, you won't be able to change anyone. Or if you've got a bunch of monsters up against the front of your formation, you won't be able to change that out either. SketchMonkey07 asks, or 007, excuse me, are you looking to get a preferred specialization choice added to each character so familiar auto clickers will auto level that specialization choice? Well, we don't have a slot for familiars to choose specialization choices right now. If we were to add that in a future familiar update, we would potentially look into that. Yeah, maybe. It's a little... Just wrapping my head around all the ways to try and implement that. Yeah, if we were to add familiar clicking specializations, we would definitely include a way to choose which specialization they choose, whether it's automatically or you could flag it. But I don't know if we're going to be introducing that option anytime soon. Giant Dwarf asks, could we have Minsk's and Zorbu's base number for the favored enemy debuff better match up? Yeah, I'll flag that to look at that with Justin. Do we get a change log? Also, for those of you who have been talking about it for the past couple of weeks, Ashara's second set of bond abilities now has the same value as her first set. So thanks for bringing that up. We just pushed an update earlier today that included that. So hashtag thanks, Justin, for looking into that so quickly. See how I did that? See? Take the blame, Justin, turn into a thanks, Justin. Let's see. All right, so we got our Deacon chest. We've got, now remember, when I hit 50, I was at 128 Mistress Favor. Now I'm at over 5,000. So that's the benefit of pushing past the goal point and getting additional favor. And right now I'm getting 5 to 10 more favor every second. So right now would not be a good time to end the campaign or end the adventure, because we want to get that additional favor so we can make the next run even easier. Although since I'm already at 100 and the next one's 75, I guess I could complete it. But for new players, watch that favor total, and when it starts to die off, when you're going a minute, 2 minutes, and it hasn't gone up after a while, you're getting 20, 30 minutes, and it hasn't gone up, then it's time to end the adventure. Resetting. I wonder what I got for Deacon. And so that Mistress Favor, 5,000 Mistress Favor, will get added, and then later I'll be able to convert. So let's talk about conversions. So let's say I completed my time gate. I'm done, and I close the time gate. Now that I've closed the time gate, I have Mistress Favor to spend. And you can see that's plus 5,000% extra gold. That's pretty good. So if I go into a regular adventure, boop, boop, let's get another Ayla gold chest. All right, so you get a time gate piece if you didn't collect a chest from the adventure. If you didn't collect one, you get one time gate piece. If you didn't collect 2 chests, you'll get 2 time gate pieces. And you immediately are forced to convert. After an event, I believe you have a week before you're forced to convert. But at some point, you'll open up the game and you'll see this blessings box, and it says you're being forced to convert. So time gate favor, because you don't get as much of it, is a lower percentage boost than an event favor. Normally at the end of an event, you've got anywhere between 60% to 110% boost to your favor with your selected deity. So if I look at this, I'm going to get a 9% boost on whatever deity I choose. So based on what my source total is, I can flip back and forth and say, all right, where am I going to next? Well, I know that the next adventure is going to be Ravenloft in Grand Tour, so I'm going to choose Torm's Favor, and I'll convert that. So I'll take all that Mistress Favor, turn it into Torm's Favor, and now if I go to the Blessings menu, I can look through and purchase some blessings. Oh yeah, this is my dev account. Did I reset my blessings and not know it? Whoops. All right, I guess I got to get some blessings going. So you can choose blessings. You should never spend more than 10% or 1%. The trick is you want to keep your favor high. The blessings should not be purchased just because you have that, you should try to keep your favor as high as you can. And so these blessings should just be top offs. It shouldn't really lower you that much. If it does, you need to wait and get more favor before you go down that road. And these are going to be really good boosts. As you start to go through and you get more and more favor, consider picking up some blessings, because it's like a little bit of favor and all of a sudden all my champions are increased by 50%. Now, there's two different types of blessings. There's campaign-specific blessings, which are on the left side here, and then there's a campaign non-specific. So the largest of the blessings for that tier are going to affect your champions over all campaigns. So that's why this one's going to be really expensive, because it doesn't just work in Dragon Heist, it works outside as well. So we've got favor in... Oh, that's right, it's Helm. That's why, because I didn't purchase those yet. But if you look at my Torms, I've got a lot of Torms. Ooh, 25% more gold. Ooh. See, this would be bad. Right now, even though I can spend it, I shouldn't, because I've got 7.5 E10 and I've got 9.79 E10. And luckily, I've got a little warning that pops up like, whoa, you're going to spend 76% of your favor. Are you sure? So don't spend that much favor. Let's see. All right, so we're starting to reach the end. I'm going to put this formation together. Let's see, what announcements do we have? Let's, for those that joined us during the event, don't forget to get your stream chest code, Ayla Stormbringer. I believe the spurt code from last Friday is still active as well. Hashtag bring spurt back exclamation point. Hashtag bring spurt back and Ayla Stormbringer. If you throw that into the store on Steam or WebGL or those two platforms, you can get a free chest. Let's see, did I do that one? Bring spurt back. I already did it. Ayla Stormbringer. Let's see what we got in our Ayla chest. Ayla chest. Ooh, triple tartans. And I don't know if anyone's noticed, but our artists do an amazing job making each chest look unique. So Deacon's chest, it's got a little bit of his scale colors, and he's got a bunch of trash and stuff, but Ayla's chest has her tartan on it. Sometimes the inside of the chest has Easter eggs, so whenever you're opening a champion chest or a weekend chest, watch it when it's opening. It's hilarious, the stuff that they throw in. Like, look at Deacon. Doom! Deacon. Stinky bag of clamshells. All right. Question from Phoenix Rising. When will all of us non-Steam players be able to take advantage of those free chests? Hopefully very soon. We've gotten the system approved. Now it's all about having tech time to implement it and making sure it works on all of our different platforms. That's going to be one of our priorities in the coming quarter. So if you've been able to pick up a Nayeli skin code or outfit code from the Dungeons of the Mad Mage set, available now in stores, includes a chest code for the Champion Nayeli skin, which is on screen right now. If you have those and you are not playing on Steam, hold on to them. They won't expire, and you'll be able to use them in the new code system when we come to a different platform. Let's see. I think I got to those. Going back to the question of what is the probability of a gold chest in a free play. 33% chance that when you complete a free play adventure, you'll get a gold. So a 1 in 3 chance that you'll get a gold chest instead of a silver chest. Otherwise, it's guaranteed if you've gotten 3 silver chests in a row in the free play. So we have a pity timer. So if you end up getting 1, 2, 3 chests and the random generator is working against you, it'll be a gold one as the next one. All right. Any more questions before we get to the end of our stream? Let's see. For announcements, get Ayla and Nrak. Grab as many chests as you can before Monday at noon when Greengrass ends. Grand Tour 8 is coming next week. That'll be the end of our Barovia adventures for now. And the MAME drop, the Critical Role MAME drop, where Liam, Taliesin, and Satine Phoenix played through Idle Champions. That's out on YouTube now. The moderator should be able to throw that link into the chat. We're going to be at D&D Live. The Idle Champions crew will be at D&D Live, just like we were at the stream of Many Eyes. So come by, check us out. Check out all the different vendors they've got at the event, all the different games they're going to be running, all the different shows you'll be able to watch. It's going to be a crazy event. I think tickets are still available, so you can search for D&D Live 2019. So next week we've got Grand Tour 8. The week after that we've got Caddy Bree and Spurt. We've got an exciting couple of weeks of content for you guys. Dylan's back next week. He'll probably regale you with all of his tales of Hawaii and how awesome it was to swim every day and just be awesome. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. And yeah, so thank you so much for hanging with me. It's so awesome to get to connect with all of the fans and hear what you're thinking, hear what's on the top of your mind, and see what we can do to get that implemented as soon as possible. But thank you again. It's been awesome hanging out with you for the past couple of weeks. I'll hand the reins back over to Dylan next week, but I'll still be around. I'll be lurking in the Discord, discord.gg/idlechampions. And we've got an exciting end of spring and summer lined up for you. I think you're going to like what we've got in store. So thanks again, and have a great Easter weekend, everyone.